Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and we're going to do another one of these. This is pattern 78261 over on friendshipbracelets.net. And whoops. And I think this one has some potential. This has got some interesting stuff going on. And I think what's going to really make this one is like what's going to happen at the ends of the bracelet, right? So here, let me just rotate this 90 degrees, and then we're going to enlarge it. I need to zoom in. There's a little box you grab hold of to slide, and I can't see it unless I zoom in a little bit. And then I'm going to put that to a new layer and just kind of shove that off to the side here. There we go. So, yeah, this is one of those ones where I'm probably not going to mess with the pattern itself a lot. However, I don't like the idea of like just kind of cutting in for the starts or whatever. I kind of want to make it the starting of the bracelet to be interesting, and then of course I want to have the middle to be really interesting. And I think for this there's two potential middles. One would be like right across. Can you see where I'm pointing it here? Let's can we zoom in on this? So you could go right across here where like these two dots are, and that could be your middle, and then you would separate out these diamond things would be on either side. Or in my case, I'm going to put this diamond thing right in the middle of it. So like I said, you can kind of go either way. Again, it's going to come down to how does the thing end? How do we change that up? Do we make it interesting and stuff? So obviously I'm not going to use black. Because we've shown how changing colors and grabbing entire areas is a thing. Look at that. I already have a purple over here, so let's do that. Whoa. Remember I said you have to switch back to fill similar sections as opposed to the whole section? That's why. Never fails. All right. So there's our center dot, and then it's got this diamond that comes out around it like that. And then, kind of think using the other color at this point makes sense. I wonder. Yeah, see, if we use the blue from this, look at that. You can barely see it. So we're going to have to use something with way more contrast. Let's go purple and yellow. That's always fun. Look at that. Way better. Way easier to see what we're doing. Okay, so this one is just a diamond outside of it. Like that. There's a little thing like that, and then another one. Right, so that's those two pieces, and then this goes all the way back out to the outside again. Obviously, there's a lot more other stuff going on here, but this kind of racing ahead kind of gives me a little bit of an impression of what we have. Yeah, see, this is, yeah, this is definitely going to end in a weird area. We get to have a couple of these things. Yeah, we'll come up with something cool down here. All right, let's figure out what else is happening. So there's this that comes this way and this way. That's kind of neat. Again, I never understood why these little half dots at the edges. It doesn't help you to see what the pattern's going to do. It's kind of more or less, it's just more annoying than anything. At least to me. I don't know. Let me know if you, what you think. Those things bother me though. Okay, so this one comes all the way out straight. Did it go to the edge? Yes. And then there's this thing here. All right, so that's the counterpart to these. Neat. That's the yellow. Ah, okay. I was like, wait, I lost track of where the yellow is supposed to come out to do these things. It goes this direction. That makes more sense. Okay. And that's a yellow. So this is moving right along. Like, honestly, this is not too bad. I'm a little bit curious as to how the strings are going to lie, as well as how, like how many zigzag knots it requires. Okay, I still have questions. What I mean by the zigzag knots are the knots that go to the left and then the right, or the right and then the left. So they're the ones responsible for making things do a little zigzag. So let's see. Actually, this isn't going to end so badly. We have the little diamondy thing there. I suppose I would just do this. That would not be so bad at all. And then let's kind of zoom out a little bit. Yeah, we'll get 3 diamonds in all. We'll get this 1, 2, there'll be what, 4 of the things where it's got like the figure 8 or whatever going on. Yeah, that's not bad at all. All right, I think to make this go a little faster, we're going to try doing the thing where we just concentrate on one side and go from there. So let's grab the yellow. I'm looking over here to see like how much can you guys see. All right. So obviously the first string has to be yellow in order to come down this way. It would be this side would go in this way, that side would be going that way, but we're only working on one half of, well, the top quarter of this. So there. The second string is obviously, it is this purple because it needs to be here for this. And this yellow string comes underneath. We could like follow one string at a time, or we can kind of, yeah, see, this is so much easier. Look at these, the strings just go straight across. It's, this is the, oops. This is so much easier, guys. Some of the other bracelets I ran into here recently gave me concerns. But look at this. This is going to be one of those ones where you just need left and right knots. And to me, that is awesome. I love when a pattern looks super complex, but it turns out it's beginner friendly. I just absolutely love those. And it's not because I can't do complex ones. You've seen, oops, you've seen like the wall hanging, the big project, right? Like that was as complex as you could probably get. Um, and yeah, I tore through that. So no, it's this notion that somebody beginning can make something that's really cool and impress their friends and, you know, get excited about it. And nobody has to know that it wasn't too complicated. And I think that's awesome. I think there's something absolutely wonderful about that. Because I'm picturing, you know, like, you know, like I started when I was like 19 or 20 years old. Um, but I'm picturing somebody even younger, like say, you know, 14, 15 years old, or even younger still, maybe 10, um, wanting to make something really intense for their friends. And they stumble into a pattern like this and realize like, oh, it's not that much harder than say a chevron, other than the fact that like a chevron, you don't have to actually look at a pattern. Um, and this one, obviously, you're going to have to pay attention to counting how many knots are in a direction or whatever. But that, you know, as far as the difficulty level of tying the knots, yeah, it's just like doing a chevrons. And yeah, kind of excited about that. So now I'm just, you know, following the strings down, making sure that all the colors are taken care of. Obviously, it's working out just fine. Um, Sometimes these things are easy, sometimes they're not. This happens to be one of the easier ones. I wonder if the person who actually put this pattern up on friendshipbracelets.net, if they knew um, that this was just an easier one, or like that's how they worked it out, or, you know, did they work it out with string first, or did they work it out um, on the paper or the computer? Because I've done that. I've gone either way with that. There's been times where um, I wanted an effect, and so I worked it out on the computer first. And there were other times where I just lined up some strings and decided, let's see where that takes us. Um, I have to say that sometimes that let's just do it and see where it takes us can be really interesting, and you may surprise yourself in ways that you wouldn't necessarily do on paper. You might see an opportunity differently, or I don't know what it is about that in general, But there is something to be said about just lining up some string and having a go at it. So yeah, kind of fun. All right, we are getting closer to being done. I didn't finish out some of the rows, so that's why it was like coming down with two of the purple there. There's obviously I didn't finish out one of the yellows as well. So we'll run into that in a bit. Well, this mouse is going to drive me insane. The little track wheel on it is not even and it rolls. So sometimes I'll scroll down and it scrolls back up a little bit. So yeah, it was just one little thing. So I'd seen that there was two down here. I thought there was going to be more. It was just one little thing I missed. All right. So that's all that. Now we can make that go away. And we're going to use the select tool and we're going to select this top right half that we finished. Control C, Control V to copy and paste. So now there's a layer up on top. And we take the flip tool, and this time we want to go horizontally. And we can move that over to this side. And so that way all of our hard work ends up matching up with this. Anchor that down. So now instead of being in two layers, it's just one. And now grab the whole top half here. Control C, Control V again. And this time we will flip vertically. And we take the move tool and we move it down here. And I use the arrow keys. With the move tool, it'll allow me to use the arrow keys to kind of slide that over so I can get these things lined up. And then if I go to the main area here, you'll see that little anchor, which allows me to anchor the layer, which again takes it from having two separate layers and turns it into just one. And here's our bracelet, guys. That is way cool. I really like this one. I hope you guys do too. I think this one's going to be a bit of fun to make. And yeah, I wasn't sure how the end was going to end up. We didn't do anything too overly crazy to it or anything, but we made it so that way it's a nice clean start and finish. So awesome. All right, guys. Thank you to my Patreon supporters who make these tutorials possible. If you want to come join us over on Patreon, I give a lot of insights into my life and stuff periodically there. So you can read about what's going on, stuff I don't typically talk about in videos or the live stream or anything. So, as well as we do hangouts, which is also very fun. And yeah, as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.